Yo, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about what Overwatch is exactly. I've gotten some DMs on both Instagram and Discord recently. Just people not knowing what Overwatch is. They had heard of the game because it's pretty big right now, in particular the controversy over IGN rating it 10 out of 10, even though it's a completely broken game that is unbalanced and unfair depending on your team comp. But to put it simply, it's a shooter. That's the simplest form. It's just an FPS. It's a first-person shooter. To break it down a little more intricately, it's a class-based hero shooter. Like, but if I were to describe it in one sentence, I would say it's a class-based hero shooter where victory is reliant heavily on cumulative team play. I should have wrote a script for this. That would have been a good idea. Yeah, Overwatch it's in its simplest state, it's a shooter. In its most complex state, it's a team-based hero shooter. So, today's video is going to be about what is Overwatch. I just described it. And how exactly do you play? This is going to be like a whole series. I'm probably going to do a video on each of the classes. By classes, I mean support, damage, tank, damage, and support in that order. And eventually, I will be doing individual videos on every hero, where I play one game of each hero. This series will be coming up on Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and sometimes Friday, until it's done. This is going to be, it could get kind of repetitive, but this first episode is just going to be talking about the basics of Overwatch and how I would recommend you start Overwatch. So, the first thing you want to do when starting Overwatch, you're obviously going to want to play this tutorial and learn the basic controls of your abilities. Most characters have two abilities assigned to L1 and R1, and certain characters, and most characters also have an L2, or a right click on PC, that is some sort of altercation of their primary weapon. Soldier 76 has a Helix rocket, and he normally has your standard assault rifle. The reason I'm Soldier 76 is, in my opinion, I'll be going over the easiest character to play in each class, in my opinion. And for damage, which is the most commonly played class, I think Soldier 76 is probably one of the easier ones. If you're looking for something more complex, Tracer, she's a very mechanically reliant hero. You have to know what you're doing, and you have to know how your abilities work and things like that. Or Doomfist, I'd say, are the two probably the hardest to just learn. Once you learn them, though, they're really good. Doomfist, you have to know how to do all your combos and how to do certain rollouts, which a rollout is some sort of enhancement of your mobility. Oh geez, did I just actually do that while trying to teach people how to play Overwatch? Oh god. The easiest tank, in my opinion, is either Reinhardt or D.Va, but probably Reinhardt, because for yourself to get value out of Reinhardt, all you really have to do is do this and press R1 on cooldown. And sometimes you can do this. Yeah, and then the hardest, Zarya. She has her abilities. Her thing is that she can bubble, as it's called within the Overwatch community, her teammates, and her damage gets increased the higher that, you see that number? The higher that is, the higher my damage per second is from any of my attacks, and the way to increase that is for someone to deal damage to my bubbles. And you have to know when to time those, and her ultimate is extremely important and very hard to build, so, you know, you have to be careful with that. And then the easiest support, and probably the easiest hero in the game, is Mercy. If you're just coming to to first-person shooter games, or just video games in general, Mercy is very easy. You only really have to you have to look in the general direction of your teammate for a second, hold R2, and you can just kind of do this. Eventually, you're gonna learn that you can also boost the damage of your teammates, or fly to them, or resurrect them should they die, or you can pull out your pistol and shoot at people, which I would recommend doing not very often because people don't like it when you do that. It's called battle mercying, and generally speaking, it's not something people find pleasing. But yeah, the most simple, oh my bad, the most complex, that's kind of a tie between 3 heroes actually. Ana, Baptiste, and Zenyatta are all very mechanically demanding heroes. Zenyatta and Ana require a lot of aim and positioning skill because neither of them have any mobility. Zenyatta doesn't have any peel for himself, which peel, we can go over that later. Probably in the tank video because tanks are generally responsible for peeling the most. Baptiste isn't too mechanically demanding, like your aim doesn't have to be super on point because his healing grenades are AoE. They heal an area of effects rather than just in one little burst and one target at a time. His burst rifle is not too hard to hit, just kind of point and click in the enemy's general direction and you can kill people pretty fast with it. But it's ability usage that's hard with Baptiste. He only has 1 self-heal, and it's on a 13-second cooldown, and he has an immortality field. This ability has to be timed properly, because it has a 20-second cooldown. Or sorry, it has a 20-second active cooldown. Deactive cooldown, sorry. It has a 25-second active cooldown. And by active cooldown, I mean that it stays up for 5 seconds in each of its uses. So, yeah. Baptiste, Ana, and Zenyatta. That's his ultimate. Personally, of those 3 heroes, I love Ana.
Never stop fighting for what you believe in.
Ana is probably my most played, if I recall correctly, she's my most played hero. And by far the most fun for me. I love playing Ana. She's just so fun, in my opinion. But she's very mechanically demanding and challenging. Once you learn her and you can get certain mechanics down, she's really, really good. But you have to learn her and you have to know how to play her. But that's pretty much the basics of Overwatch in and of itself. But we're also going to go over the basics of abilities and ultimate usage. Or not ultimate usage, sorry, just ultimates in general, really. So, I'm actually going to play Ashe here, because she has everything that I'm looking for. She has a regular shot, she has an L2, which is just an ADS, but that's not, ADS meaning aim down sight, but that's not a big deal. She has a mediocre movement ability and a really good DOT ability. DOT meaning damage over time. And she also has a very strong, relatively easy to build ultimate. So, as I said earlier, most of the characters have 2 abilities. An L1, which in a lot of cases is a movement ability. And an R1, which in a lot of cases is a primary damage ability. In a lot of cases, there are exceptions. Most characters also have a standard, just press your trigger and they'll shoot button, which in Ashe's case is a semi-automatic rifle. But most characters also have, you can press your L2 or your right mouse button and you get some sort of other shot. Some characters have a different variation of their primary shot. Some characters have an aim down sights. Some characters just do something entirely different, like, and some characters have L2 exclusively, well, one character actually has the L2 exclusively to use his L1 to effectiveness. Junkrat, to be specific. He throws down a little mine, in order for it to blow up, you have to press L2. And ultimates. You generally speaking, most characters are going to get most of their ultimate charge from dealing damage, except for supports, Roadhog, and Sombra. Those characters can gain a lot of their ultimate charge off healing. Sombra is a very complex character, and I do not feel like going over her right now, so we're just not going to explain how a damage can heal. But most ultimates are these big, often teamfight winning moves that do a lot of damage most of the time, or are ultimates that are used to secure a lot of damage, except support ults. A lot of support ultimates, well, specifically I think 3, are used for defensive purposes. The Zenyatta character I mentioned earlier, his ultimate has 300 healing per second attached to it, which is a lot given the average hero has 200 HP. And so it's generally speaking used to counteract a lot of ultimates, or a lot of damage ultimates. Like, if I, as Ashe, throw out my ultimate called Bob, a Zenyatta is going to pop his ultimate to counteract my Bob, where most of his damage comes from damage over time because he just shoots constantly. There are certain counters to every ability has a counter. Coach Gun's counter, any movement ability. You can reclose the distance in between you and the Ashe by using your movement ability. Our Dynamite's counter, anything that heals with its damage, so it doesn't actually do any damage. Like Brigitte, Lucio, Zenyatta, Mercy, here's like that. And Bob's counter are things like Lucio's ultimate, called Sound Barrier, where he casts an ability and you get a bunch of shields. Zenyatta's ultimate, or Brigitte's ultimate, also are all very good at counteracting Bob. But that's the basics of hero ability, hero basic firing, as well as basic ultimates. And that should be it. Let me just go over the heroes here and make sure I've covered the very, very basics of what I'm trying to get at here. If I'm not mistaken, it's Friday today. So next episode will be coming out on Sunday, which I will also be probably streaming and recording Minecraft Mondays. So expect another episode of this come Sunday. And there will also be a stream of me probably playing support. Inevitably Ana or Brigitte. But yeah, that's the very basics of Overwatch. That's it stripped down to its innards. Its outer layers. This is its most outer layers. You got your basic concept of what Overwatch is. Your 3 classes. I've also listed some easier heroes to play in each class. And then I've also broken down abilities, ultimates, and standard hero primary fire. So yeah, I think I'm done for this video. This series, again, will be up on Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and hopefully Friday. So 4 days a week until it's done, which is going to be like 8 or 9 episodes. So expect this to be like a 2-week series. And then for a while, we will be having a daily upload of me playing every hero in order, which will take minimum 36 days because there are 36 heroes. But the first video will be of D.Va. Sunday's video will be covering tanks, and the innards of playing tank, and as well as a basic breakdown of each tank's abilities. So expect that on Sunday. And until Sunday, goodbye. I don't know why I said goodbye. I usually say bye, but, you know, bye.